I'm a geologist. The word geology comes from Greek geo, the earth, and logos, study. So geologists study the earth. More specifically, I'm geochemist. I'm looking at chemical composition, rocks and minerals. And from that, I'm trying to deduce geological processes which took place during evolution of the earth. I'm working on 3 projects. I'm looking at chemical composition of old volcanic rocks. I'm investigating deposit of rare earth elements in granites. And I'm looking at environmental impact of mining in Mongolia. Most exciting discovery was during my work with Halifax-based exploration company UCO Rare Metals. We discovered the largest heavy rare earth element deposit in the United States, which has, according to public media, value about $6 to $7 billion. We assume that it will come into production about 2015, 2016, and it will be environmentally friendly mine. And waste rock will be put back underground, and there virtually would not be any wastewater. We have support of local community, state of Alaska, and we assume that it would employ about 200 people. Mining changed drastically. I could see it in Mongolia, that mining became much more sustainable and environmentally friendly, unlike it was in before. A study of earth science is essential to understand our planet, because the past is key to the future. Earth sciences could explain most processes which are taking place on the surface. Secondly, they help us to find new deposits of natural resources, which is cornerstone of economy of Canada, and also to help protect our environment for future generations.
The Ocean Tracking Network is a global network that is using a technology that was developed initially here in Nova Scotia. We can track almost any animal down to about 20 grams with these systems. It monitors the movements of animals by putting out long lines of receivers. You put tags in the animals, and whenever the animal goes across that line, you have a record of it. What we're able to do with our system is to understand what impact the ocean changes are having on the animals that live in the ocean. Things are going all sorts of places that they didn't used to go. We've been tagging Atlantic salmon from down in Maine, and they go all the way up to the Arctic now. That's something that didn't happen before. We don't just follow animals, we also follow the changes in the ocean. Off the coast of Nova Scotia here, we have this cold water that comes flowing down in the Labrador Current. And we think of that as just natural cold water. But we also have the Gulf Stream going north. It's getting closer into shore. There are dramatic changes happening in the ocean, and the only way that we know to keep track of how the animals are responding to this is this tracking system. I was the senior scientist for a program called the Census of Marine Life. Over a decade, we discovered tons of interesting marine life, and most of it was unexpected because we went to places that no one had ever gone before. And I guess some of my favorite are something called the Yeti crab. This is a hairy crab that we discovered on Easter Island. I guess my all-time favorite is a 7-meter-long squid that we discovered. And the interesting thing about this squid is not only does it interest me, but a 7-meter-long squid is pretty impressive in anybody's book. That animal has never been caught. It's only been filmed. So all of the records of this animal, we actually got a specimen of one of the babies, but the adults have never been caught. This is a glorious place for marine biology. We're surrounded with people who have lived with the ocean all their lives, and people who come here to Dalhousie from all over the country are people who want to be by the ocean. So you have this captive audience of people who are interested in ocean stuff, and that's what I like to do.
I became interested in geology basically because we had a brilliant first-year professor. He showed me how the world worked using a pint of Guinness to do so. After that, I was hooked on geology. My research focuses essentially on the process of plate tectonics, which was it was a revolution when I was a student. And so I sort of rode on its coattails. It was a way in which you could relate almost everything that is happening on the Earth, the atmosphere, life, the evolution of life, the solid earth and rocks, and of course the waters that flow. And you can see how all these things relate through time. Nova Scotia is an excellent place to study earth sciences. In fact, people come from all over the world to study in Nova Scotia and Nova Scotia geology. You know, we've got such world-class geology, and we can take our students out in the afternoons and do a lot of our labs outdoors. In fact, right now, in the fall, is ideal for that. Most of our labs are not indoors like chemistry. Instead, they're outdoors, actually doing, working on outcrops like this, where students can go and look at the various types of rocks, figure out what the ancient environments are, what types of rocks they are, and what significance it has. It's a much better way to learn science in a hands-on fashion out there in the great outdoors. This is a natural laboratory. I don't know where I would be without my students, both undergraduate and graduate. Right now I've got students working in not only in Canada, but also in England, in Spain, Portugal, Mexico, and they're all looking at different parts of a global jigsaw puzzle. We're all focusing in on ancient mountain belts about the same age, and what the students get to see is they work at individual pieces, but they get to see the jigsaw puzzle being created. And so my job is looking at the big picture. They're providing the key pieces of that puzzle. I don't know where I'd be without them. People should be interested in neurosciences because you're a citizen of this planet. You utilize its resources every day. You should know something about the evolution of the planet through time that has given us these resources. I'm not just talking about metals and oil and gas, I'm talking about resources such as water. Do you know that we mine water? We consume it faster than nature replenishes it? We should know these things. We should know something about what controls the air we breathe. Do you know the reason why we have air on this planet is because we have volcanoes. Without volcanoes, we don't have air. So we need to understand how the Earth system works. And indeed, it also gives us insight into our modern environmental problems.